been listening.
All right, welcome to Computer Science Week at South Portland High School. Today's guest speakers are Nick Dalbeck, IT Network Systems Engineer, CC Chen, IT CIM Engineer, and Philip Sampson, IT Manager. CC graduated from the #1 high school in Guancheng, is that how you say it? Okay, thanks. Food City, Jiangxi, I am so sorry for butchering this, Province, China. Her education includes a Master of Information System at National University of Singapore, a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Electronic Engineering from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, a Ministry of Education Scholarship and ITIL4 Foundation Certification in IT Service Management. Fun facts about CC is that she plays table tennis, badminton, and recently is learning sewing. Nick graduated from Coney High School in Augusta and has a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology with a focus in Network Administration from Purdue Global. He holds many Cisco engineering certifications as well as being a Fortinet networking security expert and a SOFO certified engineer. Fun facts about Nick is that he plays way too much World of Warcraft, going on 20 years, and fosters puppies and adult dogs while they find their forever homes. Philip graduated from Scottsville High School, Western Cape in South Africa, and has a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from the University of Stellenbosch, yeah, South Africa. He has his Master's of Health Informatics from Logan University in Chesterfield, Missouri. He has completed Quality Assurance and Quality Engineer certifications from the Quality Assurance Institute. He has many years of IT managerial experience with companies including General Dynamics like BIW.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for having us. If you can't hear me, raise your hand. I don't mind walking closer. As you heard, we are here by your invitation. Tell you about IT in general, and as you can tell, our experiences are vastly different. We work at Diodes. Diodes is just down the road. It's one of the leading semiconductor manufacturing companies in the world. The company has been around for 64 years, and the location we work at has very deep fundamental foundation in semiconducting because it was one of the founders of the semiconductor industry under the Fairchild umbrella. So Diodes is currently at 50 locations in China, Taiwan, UK, Germany, and in America, of course. So here in South Portland, we do wafer processing, and it's applied in mostly the automotive field. About 42% of our business is in automotive. Our technology is applied everywhere. And maybe a good start for you guys to engage as well, to maybe tell us how you use technology in your day-to-day life and where you believe semiconductors are used in that space. So, any volunteers? Like, how do you use tech? You don't know? Sure.
Like the acronyms we use for school.
For anything, school, social life, etc. How do you use it? You can just speak up. You don't need to raise your hand. Phone, yes. Is that what you were pointing at? What else? Yeah.
The machines we use to have more information about our planet.
Yeah. there's a lot of pieces in there. Currently we're seeing that, for example, the phone that was pointed out is becoming as powerful as the laptops or computers that I used back in the day. I remember in, 94, etc., having a computer with 1 gig, a phenomenal privilege and very fast and state of the art. But nowadays the phones are 20 times better than that. The phones are AI as well. So semiconductor plays a role in all of that technology. I think CC and Nick also tell about their spaces. My space, I work in as an IT manager in Diodes. I work with CC and Nick. And part of my job, I believe, is to combine the focus of customer to the services we deliver in the programs and technology that we engage in. And I think this is one of the key pieces that are missed in technologies, that we tend to think, as an example that I've noted, that you guys advanced with phones, with PCs, with generic pieces, but we also have to keep in mind that whatever we deliver, whatever we do, will be used by people. So the customer component of the information technology umbrella is a critical part to make sure that the technology that we deliver, they are useful and they are improvement on what we have done in the past. So I'll let Cece talk to you about the work that she does also with tool automation in the semiconductor part, and Nick will speak to the networking space a bit more. And you're welcome to ask any question to any of us at any time.
When you guys think about semiconductor, like what would you think, like link to the radio, like the phone, like your laptop? What else do you think is like related to semiconductor chips? Yeah. And there are many like 2 types of semiconductor chips. One is the memory chips and one is the functional chips, like your laptop CPU and GPU, or like analog. This type of is called like functional chips. And then the memory is your phone's memory, like how many gig of memory your phone has, or how many gig of memory, terabyte memory you have for your laptop. So these are the memory chips. And what we do is we manufacture the chips from a raw, like a round silicon raw material, and we do like edge diffusion, and we do like use the photonics to draw the circuit on the chip, and then like step by step, there are probably like 1,000 steps. If it goes from a raw material to the end, like to the chip, when you slide the die and then do the packaging and do the probe test and then ship out. So in our manufacturing, we have a lot of equipment to do those steps, like the diffusion and the photonics and the photo, like use the photonics to draw the circuit itself on the chip. And then, and for those machines, we need a way to like automate it, to talk to the tool, and also to manage these steps. Because if you manage these steps by human, it will be a lot of work, and sometimes you may have errors. So what we do is we have a program that manages this step, and also we will collect all this data, like for this lot, and from which customer, and its function, and what recipe it is. We need to give this chip to like make it to the desired function our customer wants. Until like so we have a whole system to like get all this data, record it, which is called the MES, Manufacturing Executive System. And that's why my title is called IT SIM Engineer. The SIM is Computer Integrated Manufacturing. And my main job is we will develop this software to maintain the system and also develop the system that talk to the one like manage all the data and the one like talk to the tool, the equipment which process the wafer, the silicon wafer. So and the way we talk is through like English or like when you use the laptop, you talk through the TCP/IP. And the way we talk to the equipment is through a protocol called SPHS. It's a semiconductor equipment communication protocol. And it's a certain message, say like, I pronounce, like when I say hello, I mean hello to you guys. But when the equipment say hello, they mean shake, handshake. They will send a special, like S1, string function 1, string 1, function 1 to the tool. So the tool knows that you just said hello and you want to establish communication. And that tool will reply you as string function 1 and string 1 and function 2. To reply you say that I accept your hello. And then our message will send like the tool like, are you ready to process? And I'm going to send you command like to download this recipe or to start this wafer or start certain like cassette and or like to unload. So there are a bunch of these commands we use. So we need a program like to control this and talk to the like upper level, like for those data management system and also for our user, so that they know like how this lot has been run on the machine and how this lot, like how many time did it take, or how long, or like how many wafer, and is there any failing one, or how many success. And so this portion of the program is called equipment automation, and so that's mainly what we do. So we develop the software and we maintain the request, and sometimes we will get a request from our user, which is a process engineer, and they are the one like we will control the process of this wafer manufacturing, and they will know like what recipe the tool need to use, and how many time, like how many gas they need in the machine, and to control this wafer process. And so that's all for my job, is to develop and maintain the software. And I will pass to Nick.
Hi, I recently took on the role at Diodes as Global Network Manager. So kind of keeping in line with what CC and Phil have done. What did I say? Networking, what comes to mind? Does anyone have any ideas? Networking?
Like coding?
Coding a little bit, yeah. There's definitely code the equipment so that it can talk to things, but networking devices or maybe some of the equipment you use. Either do?
Like communicating with other people?
Yeah, absolutely. Like how do your devices communicate?
Radio signals?
Radio signals? Absolutely. Anything else?
Like communicating to like a server or a computer?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of what I do has to do with multiple functions of communicating. So I deal a lot with wired communication. So using Ethernet cabling, anything, maybe you plug your PlayStation or your Xbox into a router at home. Wireless as well, so we have a lot of wireless APs in the environment. So as I mentioned, my current role is Global Network Manager. So at this point, I manage these close to 38 service sites. And so each of those sites will have internet, they'll have private WAN. So private WAN is typically like leased lines or private connections from a branch office to a main office. And so we have equipment that facilitates communication, which is called routers. Routers will route traffic between sites. And we have devices at the edge that will allow people to communicate to the internet, firewalls, and then devices that allow people to communicate within the site, which is switches. So a lot of my job responsibilities fall under firewalls, routers, switches, wireless, and of course phones. But everybody hates phones in IT, so don't work on phones. Outside of that, I have a great team, and so a lot of what we do now is try to maintain equipment that's older. although everybody wants to refresh equipment, we have the latest and greatest. At our site, we have computers that are 25, 30 years old. We have switches in the environment that are just as old. And so it's just about maintaining. So it gets pretty rough. Trying to think. When it comes to communicating out to the web, we work through firewalls. So firewalls, Cisco firewalls, ASAs, firepower threat defense devices. You may have heard of intrusion prevention systems or intrusion detection systems. So we'll do a lot of configuration in firewalls to prevent people from accessing sites they shouldn't, or preventing malicious code from executing. And then routing, we'll do traffic between the sites. We'll have dynamic routing, static routing. It's just a lot of making sure that the sites can communicate with each other. I honestly, I'm trying to think of some other cool things. I'm not as cool as the programmers here, so yeah, that's about it. Does anyone have any questions for networking? Anything I can answer?
Nick may not. Oh, there's a question.
You say that you work with hardware or?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a little bit of both.
Oh, so since you develop systems and stuff, I would love to know if you guys work with quantum.
Say that again, last part.
Do you guys work with quantum?
No, we don't have quantum computers currently. I think quantum is still 2 years off the really development life cycle. But quantum is going to be one of the major pieces for the future, especially if you start processing vast quantities of data and require large processing speeds and space, and especially the combination of artificial intelligence. It would be a very powerful. Yeah, we're not there at all. Our push is to automate as much as we can. We are looking to advance. I'm not sure, are you familiar with Industry 4.0? Smart factories? Anybody? No hands? Yeah, but what was it? Yeah, what do you know of it?
How do you guys maintain the old hardware?
Prayers a lot of times, make sure that's not going to fail. Yeah, so we literally have Sun servers, which are Solaris boxes that are 25 plus years old in the environment that actually maintain incredibly critical systems to what CC does. And it's not uncommon for fans to fail. It's not uncommon for hard drives to fail or other components. And so right now what I've done is we have a repository in-house of old hardware. That's basically how it's done. It's just keeping a depot of equipment and trying to replace things little by little.
Thank you.
And before his maintenance job, we will stop the software and verify, like inform our process guys that this server will be down and your equipment will be affected during this period of time, because the communication between the equipment to our software will be done, and then there will be no way to view it, and so we will inform them that it will be done and for maintenance, and after his job done, we will start the software again and inform the manufacturing guy that the communication is back, and that's how we do the things.
And part of the old hardware, as we decommission it, it would be sent to an e-waste company for recycling. So from a Diodes perspective, we're very conscious of the environment as well.
Yeah, and any equipment we can't replace, or any equipment that is aged up too far, we try to virtualize. So there's a big push. So right now in the SPHS, we have 2 data centers, fairly large data centers that started with the company. And the floor space is massive. And since I've been there, we've removed probably about 30 cabinets, which are pretty significant. The goal is just virtualizing that equipment. So getting it from physical servers down to one. So I think we've virtualized already. I don't even know, just a few servers. that's the other option. Thank you.
So, as semiconductors get closer together and Moore's law appears to be reaching its limits, how does that and the innovate? How do they intend to make processing more efficient?
I think semiconductor is like, it has a cycle, so it has up and down. And because like with the technology we are using, and I don't think the world will leave out with the chips. So there will be always like one day that it will be better, and then when you have enough chips, and yeah, and it might go down and go up. So what we need to do is keep manufacturing the chips, and also like update our system to like keep in the in pace with the technology development.
So, yeah,
No, go for it.
so a little bit of that too is Moore's law and how it works with diodes is, it's not apples to apples. So Diodes is more of a company that utilizes old, and like old sizing process. So we work on specific wafer fab, sizes, and then we don't tend to go crazy like Intel or AMD where we're trying to fit more transistors on a die or anything like that. So we're basically manufacturing things that, you know, the ecosystem already needs. You know, we're not, and so there are parts, we do have assembly and test and design locations, and their goals are to actually try and figure out how we can maybe build a wafer better, how we can build a circuitry better, all these different things. But out of the fab right now, what we do, typically we're just trying to keep up with the current system, current equipment.
Yeah, we're still manufacturing on 200 millimeter wafers, and already are some companies already getting 300 millimeter, get more die in the wafer. The technology continues to increase depending on how many mask layers are put on the wafer. So it's amazing what has been accomplished by some of the leaders in the industry, like TSMC as well. So I think it's still an industry to be reckoned with as far as advancement in future part for technology growth. So it'll be interesting to see how buyers reposition based on future demands as well, especially being in the chip act and having to do more manufacturing in the USA than what we're currently doing. Good questions, any more? Sure.
You said that you also tend to like talk to the machinery or saying like how do you verify that the machine like got the message and actually understood what you're trying to tell it to like do and process and things like that?
So in the sextran like protocol, it has a gen like which standardized like which message is what we mean. So it has an international like general equipment message for the sextran. So JEM is general equipment messaging. So it will say like for the stream function, stream 1 F1 is say hello, stream 1 F13 is say established communication. So these are defined generally. So when the equipment manufacturer, when they like develop this equipment and install the software, they have defined in this way, like the way like TCP/IP works. So it has a certain defined message. Like so when we say like I send you a command, the machine itself it will reply a message, and in the message it will imply like I'm returning the code like 0. It means like I'm fine, I'm okay with your command. If I return you like a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or anything else, it has the code represent another meaning. So like my equipment is busy now, I can't perform this command, and it will reply a code. And we will always get a section manual from the equipment manufacturer, like from the vendor. When we buy an equipment from the vendor, they will also come with a section manual, and in that manual, it will define like all the code. Different code stands for different meaning, but the general message from the stream function 1 to stream function 10 is very similar from different, even though they have different vendors, like different tools.
And also, we work directly with the engineering team in our company, where we ask them to sign off on our communication. And we test the machine. We at times use test wafers, and we, instead of using a production wafer, we run the test wafer, which is less expensive through the process. And then the engineering team verify that what we've implemented is not just that we talk to the machine talks back, but also the machine functions per the expectations, especially if there's a new equipment being used.
Do you have any advice for someone who might want to enter one of your fields?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So in networking, there's a lot of places to start. One of the things I would highly suggest is if you're interested in working, figuring out firewalls and communication out to the web, how that all works, how your devices connect to each other. I would highly suggest looking at things like the Cisco Certified Networking Associate track, CCNA. Anything Cisco is wonderful. Their entry-level exams are going to give you incredible fundamentals when it comes to understanding how traffic passes on the network. Fortinet also offers great exams as well. The NSE track, with their network security expert, is all about utilizing their firewalls and, of course, any security processes. And there's actually a wonderful school here in South Portland called VTech, and they have a lot of classes, A+, like the CompTIA tracks, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. All of those are super valuable to get fundamental understanding in networking or computer space. There's regular colleges you can go for computer engineering and whatnot, tends to be a little bit more coding and whatnot, but there is network administration courses and cybersecurity, which all help kind of round out your skill set. But I would highly suggest that if anyone would ever be interested in doing things like working on networks, servers, computers, things like that, is definitely look at certifications. They're the easiest way to get into a job.
And if you guys are interested in that, Cisco, which you just mentioned, has like a program that's available to high school students that you can do for free to learn more, which is pretty amazing because they sell some of that for a lot of money, and they're making it available to high school students for free.
It's incredible.
And for me, my college major is electrical electronic engineering, and I become IT is because of my first job I get is as a vendor for the big manufacturing semiconductor companies. So and I study my programming at my first job, and so for IT in semiconductor, it doesn't require you have excellent programming skills before you can start. So it's always if you have a good attitude to learn, and also and for us, you need to be very careful because you are handling with your program will control the tool that process those wafers, and those wafers are very expensive. Like each lot we have 25 8-inch wafers, and each 8-inch wafer it can slice into different chip, and I think each chip will cost a lot. So if you add together it's 12,000 sometimes. So you need to be very careful with your job. Before you roll out any program, you need to test with your own, and also test with the testing wafer. So I would say a good attitude is always need for this job, and also and always willing to learn, and because we have very old environment and patient.
Yeah, well, all I can add to what CCN did noted is that in my experience working in different industries, I can tell you that I've met people that left straight from high school and focused on one technology and made a career in PS400, for example. There are many companies needing it, although it may do seen that he's using it. This guy made a living out of it. The key part is that, I hope you guys stay in IT and continuously show interest, even if it sometimes gets hard. Because there are difficult pieces to the skill, whether it is writing code, whether it is building networks, whether it is people. You must understand that wherever you're going to work in any industry, you require soft skills as well. So pay attention to the normal communication part, in talking to each other, how you networking, how you communicate. You don't have to communicate clearly, but you communicate. This is very, very distinctly. It is important that you take these skills forward. And if IT becomes hard and you change path and you ever want to come back to IT, that you don't think it's too late. And there are people now that we work with in the UK who started an IT major, changed major, and then now works in IT with the lead developers. So there are so many different elements of IT that I'm hoping you guys explore. And as you continue your path and if you have questions, and gladly reach out to us, many of us, just to bounce ideas off and be glad to comment on it.
Were you always interested in this field, or did you guys maybe change your minds along the way, or discover that really you were passionate about one thing?
For me, I'll answer first. My interest was mathematics mostly. I studied computer science as well as my minors. The way we structure our education in South Africa. The first time I actually touched a computer was at university. But it's always been an interest of mine, so even with manual calculations, I began to automate the calculations, and I began to pursue a field in technology, in IT. And coming to America, I've also switched to software quality and project management, which is why I mentioned the soft skills at the work, because both of those require requirements writing, verifying that the requirements are what the client wants to be implemented, and then working with the developer to translate the requirements into functional, into technical specifications, and then of course after the developer verify the code, ensure we have the right product, and then later on verifying and validating that we have both the right product and we built it the right way, and so we can be useful. So it's always been an interest for me, and it's always going to be an interest for me, as the field is just so vast and interesting.
For me, I studied electrical electronic engineering in college. I thought I might be an electrician, or other related to any job related to my major. But then I accidentally get my first job, and my first job was from the parents of I did a home tutor for students when I was in college, help them improve the math, and their parents offered me the first job. So, and then when I entered this world, I feel like it was amazing. When you can use the central message, talk to the machine, and when you send the command, the machine will do what you command for. And it's like you have another language, you can talk to the machine. So I feel like it's very fascinating. I'm very fascinated about it. So that's why I'm still in the area, in the field. I didn't change direction, and I've been in the semiconductor world for 10 years already.
Yeah, my experience started back, I just recall 1999, as the ball's dropping into the new millennium. I was ripping apart a computer at my cousin's house, and that's kind of it really sat there for me. It really kind of made me realize this is kind of what I want to do. So I started the field working on computers, desktops, stuff like that, just regular consumer grade stuff. And then I got my first real kind of commercial job as an systems engineer for a small MSP. And so I was working a lot of small builds, small customers or smaller commercial customers, maybe one server, a couple switches, stuff like that. But then it wasn't until I started working for a company called Systems Engineering, which is kind of a larger VAR or value-added reseller, where they kind of pushed me into the networking role. And that's where I found that I really love being in the networking space. I love being able to kind of watch how traffic works. Just one thing I'll say is the more you learn about technology, the more you wonder how it works. It doesn't make sense to me how we can have traffic go from one area to the next in milliseconds, and gives you a good appreciation if you do have any sort of lag or latency issues. You realize, like, okay, all right, it's basically magic in the back end, so I'll let it happen.
So my question is, what is the biggest part of your company to our community?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Yeah. What is the biggest part of your company to our community, our high school?
The biggest
Impact. Yeah.
impact of the company to the community?
Yeah.
You mean the local community?
Yeah.
When the history of Diodes and the site in particular, the site is where semiconductor international was started. So from a recognition perspective, it has quite a footprint in the world. So from a Diodes impact currently, it is to continue that tradition of excellence and continuously provide this kind of community influence, because our product are used by many big companies, even the Apple charging devices have Diodes semiconductor technology inside.
What was the name of the original 8 that started their trial? What's that? The name they gave them. What's that?
The Trader 8.
There you go. Yeah. So that's So the Fairchild name has it's a big part of the semiconductor history.
The other question here?
You say that you work with the communication between connections, right? So I wanted to know, I know that you work with the levels that you use is basically 1, 0, and 1. And I wanted to know is there any other way, or any other type of communication that you use with computers and
Yeah, for the section, it's not only like 0 to 1, it has ASCII also, so it has a certain format. You need to when the equipment manufacturer, like manufacturing their tool and install software, they need to comply with the protocol. Like you have a list, and then in the list you have certain, like you need to define your message type. For example, if you are ASCII, if you are unsigned like 8 bytes and unsigned 2 bytes, or if it's an integer 2 bytes, so you need to define your format. And then within that, you can read your message, and we will convert from the text to the normal ASCII like we can understand. And other than that, we also have our code language and also the T-code, T0 T-code, to develop the program we have. And because we need a certain logic to handle those information from the upper system, like we have a manufacturing system where we interface with the user, so the user can read at the screen. Say like, I have this type of lot, and I want to download to this machine, and I have an equipment name, and I want to process on this. The equipment has like different chamber, different load ports. So it has all the information like from the user side. They need to say like how many options I have, and they have from the process engineer, they will know like for this step I need to go to there. And then after you have all this information, it will pass to our program, and our program will need to digest this information and translate the message to the tool. And sometimes the process engineer, like we want to know what's the true status. So you will have a query, like you will have a user manual, and then go to this center like internal automation program, and then this automation program will interpret all those messages like to ask to what's the status.
Do you use Python or?
Right now we don't use Python, but we do have PostScript also, and we have web application. So we have VB.net, and yeah, we have different type of application. So
Well, we are currently expanding CG-Note and using Python for some of our engineering analysis or linear.
yeah.
So we have some data files that we have to convert to Python protocol to load it. And then we're also exploring using Python for the engineering analysis model for graphing, just to show like CPK and limits.
Yeah, and I think it's related to the data analysis.
Yeah.
So if when it comes to the data analyzing and what we call it big data, so Python has a lot of packages that we can use.
I mean, the rest of the Python, I know that Python is, so if with AI, could AI perform all of those, I mean, write commands to other machines and, I mean, maintain a system by itself?
I think that could be that day, like one day the AI will replace our job and then do it. But still,
I would say no.
yeah, but still you need someone like behind to code for the AI, like, and yeah.
I mean, the first, I mean, someone that would, that would code AI, but,
Yeah.
I mean, for example, how can I say, a satellite, for example, if I write a program, an AI program that could maintain itself, could we have a system like, I'm just using an example on the field, just a field, could we have satellites that could do its own job and a system that could maintain itself, and we have, and we wouldn't have to be launching different satellites for different types, for different goals, and using the same a machine that could rewrite, I mean, since we have used Python in this case, a machine that could rewrite the code to do a different task. I mean, is that, I know that would be complicated, but is it possible?
Well, we're doing some of that, for example, when we deal with maintenance of some of our databases, for example, if it's a certain point, archive, delete, manage it automatically. So to your point is we look to automate as much as we can, but even as the semiconductor industry evolved, take example, we think the semiconductor industry as a growth path to wafer processing with fabs, right? So many guys thought that to have a semiconductor successful company, they need a fab. But over time, even the designers began to make money. They could design as simple, as clearly as possible, optimizing Moore's law, etc., and also make a big piece of pie by just designing and then sending it to the one factory just to do the processing. With AI, it will be similar. There are pieces that we can automate to the extent of self-maintenance and self-regulation to make sure your systems don't fail or to make sure there are sufficient alerts. When I ask about stuff like smart factory and Industry 4.0, it leans towards that because you're talking about doing stuff the first time right, preventing failure, preventing crashes in your equipment. So you want your equipment to be intelligent, to recognize potential failure, to recognize when the threshold will be reached, and you want it to proactively stop itself, especially if any event causes risk of life or risk of danger to the operators of the equipment. However, there are just some pieces that has to be involved and still require human interface in order to dynamically advance and make the intelligent choice, because we still have to honor a business need, a customer satisfaction component. I personally don't think that
To piggyback onto that, there is a lot of AI or machine learning that's going into networking cards as well. A lot of what you may or may not hear the terms like EDR, XDR, endpoint detection and response, or extended detection and response, or remediation. It's all about trying to thwart cyber threats, malicious software, etc. And so machine learning and AI goes into ingesting what's happening on all the computers in the network, trying to understand, hey, is this traffic malicious? Is this traffic good? What have you? And then really what the vendors are trying to build, vendors like Palo Alto are trying to build utilize AI and machine learning to just script fixes. So you can go into your XDR console and say, hey, we think that this machine on your network has malware, someone might have downloaded something, and you can click a button and it will try to remediate it using picking up what it thinks would do, what it thinks it will take to remove that malware.
Do you guys build computers?
Say it again.
Do you guys build computers?
The chips that go into computers, absolutely. But no, we're not going to build them. I don't think the company puts together any of the PCBs like the actual circuit boards. It's just the diodes or the pieces of equipment that go on those boards. So if you ever see like a PCB or green board or black board there with all the little components, we build the components that they will integrate into that.
question?
Yeah, what's the class you found most useful looking back?
The class, looking back at the class you found most useful. And do you mean like out of high school, college?
Like core classes in high school, yeah.
I didn't have any computer classes back in high school, so I didn't. Sorry. Unfortunately, I think the first classes that was introduced were VTech here in South Portland through the A+, which was just all fundamental hardware.
What about like math or science or writing or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was part of what I was curious about, but it wasn't something that was directly related to what I was doing, so I just went through school.
I personally would say in the writing classes and mathematics, because in logic, you wasn't able to communicate. If you need to speak speeches or volunteer to speak in front of a group like we are today, sometimes you have to communicate with a larger community of users. Sometimes you have to communicate to certain levels of direct people you're reporting into or your classes, and each require a different style of communicating. So,
Yeah, you realize now that's probably a pretty important one that I use every day.
oh, yeah.
How hard is it to get into this field of work?
How hard it is to get in the field?
Like to get into get a job?
The challenge with IT is that it's a global field. It's a global competitive space as well. I don't think it's really that hard from a perspective of, apply yourself as you did today to pay attention to network. If you have a LinkedIn profile, for example, connect with us. And if you are ready to look for work and to get into the field through your college, you can look for internships at different shops. And use your network to help you grow, or to, let's say you have an interest in a company like DIW where I work and see I work there, reach out to me, ask if I know anybody there, ask if I can introduce you. You can go that route as well. But yeah, pursue your education and make sure that you'd like to work in this field as well, which area you want to do, and what specific pieces that you want to explore.
Internships are incredible. I've worked with a lot of them for the previous companies. You get a lot of value, you get to learn a lot, you see a lot, and the expectations aren't there like you are a regular employee, so people aren't going to try to, they're not going to want you to hit the ground running and be productive at the start. So internships really help you understand what goes on in the office, what each person's role is going to be. So really try to get yourself into internships, see that, the more you can get yourself, the more you can do to get in front of experience in the field, you want to round yourself up, right? So schools can have so much value, like English classes and whatnot, being able to communicate. And then of course, the technical side of things. Self-learning is great. There's lots of programming and doing work like network computing space, self-learning, self-paced stuff. Anything you do online, there's a lot of great programs online, CP2 Nuggets and stuff like that, and just regular training to the vendors, like Cisco's training, like you're saying that it's free. It's all going to help get you in the field. One of the biggest barriers to getting in IT is just having the time and space. It's one of those situations where you can't get the experience because you don't have the experience, right? They're not going to let you in the job because what roles can you held before. So trying to get anything done ahead of time, getting yourself in front of people is massive.
And I think there will be a lot of resources when you get in college. And I remember when I was in my university, I had a lot of summer internship opportunity, career fair, where you can get a bunch of resources which company is hiring intern and.
Another question.
Yeah, I ended up going to school after, so I completed high school, and then I went into some, for me, I took a path where I went for certifications and B-Tech classes to get the fundamentals. But then I went to college later to round off a lot of my skill sets. Just as Phil was saying about being able to communicate, one of the toughest things to do in the field is being able to communicate with the C-level, people, CEOs, CIOs, and being able to communicate with the customer, right? Everybody wants to hear something a different way. A CEO, yeah, the IT part of this company is massive, and it's going to make or break the company, but they don't care about the technical specs, right? They don't care about that. So, yeah.
For me, after my high school, I get a scholarship at Singapore, I attend university, and then after that I get a job and related to IT. So I get myself while I was working, I get back to school for the master's degree in information system. Yes, I think education is very important.
Yeah, I'm probably like many of you, when I was your age, I had no clue what I wanted to be. So I pursued studying what I enjoyed first, and I've always pursued a different challenge in my career path. So trying to be true to myself to always do interesting things. IT has to do it from that respect. Yep.
How long have you been working
In IT, different roles from a programmer to requirements we need to test and to project manager, to IT manager for 25 years.
For me, it's almost like 9 to 10 years.
About 16 years now.
Any more?
Other questions? Anything you want to know? Any burning questions? Things that are like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep tonight if I don't know.
Yeah, so, it might not be the answer that everyone's looking for or wants to hear, but college was super valuable when it came to rounding out a lot of skill sets as far as project management and communications and whatnot. I think that a 2-year associate degree or an applied degree is really good to kind of want to round out technical skill sets and to really understand communication and just the project pieces or the office pieces, the soft skills. But I really appreciated I did a bachelor's or 4-year degree, and so kind of really tried to delve more deeper into a lot of the network administration aspects.
4 years actually. Doing the job that you today, that you work with.
So like how much time, like how much experience did I build up before? Yeah. I really like to put myself in front of whatever I could. Right now, I'm taking on a new role where, being global network manager, I'm doing a lot of things that, I'm just incredibly new to. I handle a lot of purchase orders and vendor communication and trying to do billing and argue prices. So I'm working with our CTO, and so you kind of get the experience as you go, and as long as you put yourself in front of it, as long as you're willing to learn it, you're just going to soak it up, and it's, you run with it how you want it.
How long, I don't know, probably our college, because work with, maintaining the systems and working with them, but how long would you, or how much experience would you need to work in the area where you can study and develop new shifts and new technology, I would say.
So I'm not in a position where I'm necessarily generating any new technology out of it. I will work with new technology. I'll take it on in the environment. For instance, I mentioned Palo Alto and AI. I'll be handling machine learning equipment, things that kind of look at our network, look at the traffic. I'll try to understand that. I'll go over certifications, but when it comes to the experience, how long does that take me to do each of those things? That's a tough one. I mean, I spent 5-6 years in the consumer space just working on stuff, and I never felt comfortable going into the commercial space, working with people's servers. I thought it was crazy, but I made the leap and I just absorbed it. You just kind of got to get into that position, prove that you want to be there through the interview, and then just don't doubt yourself. I mean, experience is just going to come as you're working there. I apologize. I hope that's somewhat what you're looking for.
So there's no real timeline for leading or partaking in interesting, challenging projects. The learning in IT does not really stop. There's always new pieces coming. And you always have to be willing to push yourself to position yourself and be ready for the next challenge of work. Currently, our team in IT is very small. We have people taking on new challenges as part of the daily task while doing existing work. People have CC, for example, is leading the development of a new station control, a new automation platform at South Portland. It is not something that she went to school for or trained for, but it's something that's a good job, a challenge that has to be resolved and has to be grown into the rapidly benefit for the company. So I would say look at what the organization the department presents, opportunity, align yourself to learn more about those challenges, and present yourself to your leaders as a potential of taking these projects.
Okay, any last minute questions, anything we still want to clarify? Thank you guys so much. Yeah, please.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Beth Young, and I want to thank this panel who came over from Diodes. I'm actually in HR, and I'll see you folks probably in, I think it's May that you guys have the career fair, but we'll probably have a booth there, but these guys probably won't be there. But we have contact information for them, and it's right on, as you walk out, if you want to have their contact information, their LinkedIn info, it's right on that flyer there at the corner. It's right on the last things. Just so you can go ahead and grab it, and that information is right there. Thank you, Gretchen.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Caitlin, did you have a question?
Do you recommend studying abroad in Singapore or China?
Right.
Do you recommend studying abroad in China or Singapore?
Yeah.
Singapore. In which one?
I studied in Singapore, National University of Singapore, and also Nanyang Technological University, the top two. So I would definitely recommend.